that the Byzantine Romans, who are currently in the state they're in, they will beat the Persians. And to add insult to injury, he went one step forward and he said between 3 to 9 years. Now, when you look at prophecies, whether it's Nostradamus or the Mayans or even the I Ching, you will notice that giving a date, even when it comes to cold reading by these palm readers, they avoid specifics.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the worst thing that you can do. General, like horoscopes. Yeah. So the Prophet is being very specific, between 3 to 9 years. And then it said that the Muslims will rejoice as well. So, okay, that's very nice. Now, Islamically, we say this is exactly what happened. Now, let's put the Muslims on ice for 1 second. You have a Christian individual called Theophanes. Theophanes has written a book called the Chronicles of Theophanes. It's a primary source evidence, the best source of historical evidence. He's a Christian. He verified exactly that they did indeed beat the Persians in that time frame, and the dates are there as well. In fact, this prophecy is so unique that even a historian like Susan Wise Bauer, even she said that the Byzantines were ill-equipped, they were lazy, and they were unprepared. So you have this army of, I don't want to use that inappropriate word, but let's just say lazy people beating these giants, yeah, within the same time frame. And then the ayah, the verse also said the Muslims will be rejoicing because the Muslims had a battle called the Battle of Badr, in which the ratio was 3 to 1. The Muslims were 313 against an army of 1,000. The Muslims beat them as well. Again, this is historically recorded. So, just to look at this prophecy once more, that you had the Byzantine Romans versus the Persians. They were losing incredibly. The Prophet, peace be upon him, chose that specific time to give a date. Between 3 and 9 years, they will win. Historians tell us it was not logical to assume that they would win because of the nature of the army, the loss that they had incurred, and then we're told by an outside source, Theophanes, that indeed this did take place. So before I move on to the next prophecy, give me your thoughts about that.
I think number one, I'm really glad about that because I did not know that.
Jump in.
No, I'm glad that you're providing me evidence, which is kind of what I asked for.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I kind of already know a little bit about this. Some bits.
Yeah.
Very not as detailed as you do, of course. So I thought it's good if I just tell you what I know firstly.
Okay.
About at least Islamic part, talk to him too much.
Or let me give you a few examples. You're probably not going to know this. In Surah Baqarah, the second chapter of the Quran, in verse 286, Allah talks about the middle nation. The middle nation.
I do not know this.
But that verse where Allah's talking about the middle nation, so I said there are 286 verses in that chapter. That verse is 143, which is exactly half of 286.
Well, now I think I do know what you're talking about. Well.
So that numerical precision. Hellfire, we believe from our traditions, it's black. And the amount of gates that it has, the amount of time gates is mentioned in the Quran, so the numerical precision and the accuracy of that also. And you can go on and on and on with regards to even the numerical precisions. Are you aware of some of those?
Well, to be honest, I did look at this like a long time ago.
You did, yeah?
I did. I think angels and devils are mentioned the same amount of times. There were a bunch. I agree with you on that one. I think, to add to your point, I think there was also lots of scientific evidence discussed.
So let me just pose a question there. If a book is 1400 years old, it's used 1400 years afterwards, no one can find a contradiction in it. It's still relevant to the fastest growing religion on the planet, which are the Muslims. It's the most morally discussed book. On top of that, you've got prophecies in there that are very accurate. You've got numerical miracles. But if I was to tell you that the author of that book was unlettered, he couldn't read or write, and he was inspired, my question to you is, what makes the most sense? Was he incredibly smart and he made it up? Did he copy it from somebody else? Or was he a prophet? Which of these makes sense, or do you think there's another option?
I see your point. Well, I think I should re-edit my point previously. When I said that I think you guys are best at preservation, what I meant was, honestly, as of right now, I would think of all the religions I've heard, you guys have the most evidence. I'll admit that. Probably why I'm here today. And I think either it's because, he just left me.
No, he's there, he's there.
The sun hit me hard.
No, because we believe that the angel that writes your good deeds is on your right. He was on the left, so he moved to your right.
He does not do much.
Now you're talking good stuff, so he's came to your right.
I think it's because I heard the most evidence from him. Maybe it's because I learned the most about Islam.
Yes.
But I think you guys have the most evidence. And I think out of most religions, you're the most likely. And of your question of saying, in this case, would it make most sense for a illiterate guy to write the whole book, or for God to write the whole book? I would say any logical person, I hope, will agree with me in saying God writing the whole book will make a lot more sense. And I think that would make sense. But the problem here is, for example, the numerical evidence, the numerical sequence you mentioned. I searched online because I was curious. I was like, it can't be just the Quran. I searched for the Bible. Christians claim that the Bible also has numerical patterns. But if I'm being honest with you, similar to the Quran, I don't remember the specifics. You can search it up right now. As for prophecies, Christians claim to have the same thing. Scientific evidence, they don't really have. There's a story about this.
You make such good points, and sometimes I forget to address them. When it comes to prophecies, Christians have something called the Olivet Discourse, which is a prophecy of Jesus, in which he said that the people who are alive at his time would perish, because it was like the end of world prophecy. C.S. Lewis says that was an embarrassing prophecy of Jesus. So when you say that when it comes to prophecies we're the same, I would say there's not a single prophecy of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that's been proven to be false. Number two, that's been called embarrassing by an advocate of Islam, like C.S. Lewis. You can search this up, it's recorded, Olivet Discourse. So when it comes to prophecies, Islam is definitely more precise, but continue.
Yeah, so I'm saying that's one thing. So I'm saying, from what I know, which is obviously very limited, I can see lots of other religions having, not in the preservation part, but at least in the prophecy part and the numeric part, I can't say one numeric pattern is more significant than the other, per se. I would say they also have those. And the more important bit is...
I would argue, and if you go back to my point at the beginning, you wouldn't be saying that. Let me just jog your memory. The Quran is read in the Arabic language. Numerical miracles are found in the Arabic text. When it comes to it's called Greek Konaic. Whenever patterns are mentioned with regards to the Christian books, they're with regards to the English version of the KJV. So do you see? So then that's unfair to the Spanish people that are reading the KJV. How comes we didn't get miracles from God? How comes the English did? How comes the English always get this? You see? So it's not fair. And they don't read the New Testament in Greek. When it comes to the Old Testament of the Jews, they don't even have manuscripts that go to the time of Moses. So the book that they claim to have isn't even the same book that Moses did. In fact, even Christians, they believe that Jesus had a gospel that he was preaching, but then any other logical person would be like, but I swear the gospels were written 30 years after Jesus. Then what gospel did Jesus have?
Why did they write it down?
You know what I mean? Then what was he preaching and what are the Christians preaching? So that's why I'm saying that when you're looking at, and that's why I dealt with that at the beginning, it's about the original language. When you've got some languages, if Christians believe Jesus is either Son of God or to most of them God, and he spoke Aramaic, my question is, why the hell are you speaking English? Why is it for 50 years before the printing press, the 50 versions, that the 50 editions of the Bible were in Latin? Why were you talking about Latin? Why not Aramaic, which UNESCO says is an endangered language? So when it comes to numerical miracles, I would say no, we're completely different. If, for example, and I looked within Christianity because somebody came to the park with this, it's only unique to the English version of the KJV. That's all it is. And when it comes to even the Vedas, again, the Hindus are in two minds that, okay, the Manusmriti is part of the canon, like it's part of his laws that we accept. Some say no, it's a guy called Manu who came and gave his own opinion in which he was saying certain things. I don't want to, we've got kids here, I don't want to mention some of the stuff, but it's a bit mad. Yeah, it's a bit mad. But some of that stuff, I'll give you one simple example. The Old Testament says that when it's referring to the Amaleks, yeah, kill the men, women, children, babies, infants. In fact, it says take the heads of the infants and smash them against the rocks. Now I ask you, as an average individual, is that something you can read to your child?
No, not about smashing heads on rocks.
Is that something that you can read on your graduation when you're proud and you've been working for 3 years? Now my challenge would be for somebody that claims that the religions are all the same, you find me one verse in the Quran that mentions killing babies or smashing heads of people on rocks. There's nothing like that, my friend. In fact, what you'll see of the Quran is you'll go to Harvard Law School and you'll see when it comes to the verse of equality and justice, that's the verse that they liked of the Quran and encapsulated it and wrote it on their building. It's there, you can Google this yourself. So when it comes to verses of the Quran, the fantastic stuff in it, stuff that is incomparable, I say, when it comes to the other holy books, which, my friend, they don't even access to the original language. They rely on translations. When you're walking out and about, you speak to some of these Christians, say, can you read this and can you read chapter 6 in Koine Greek? But then you ask a Muslim, you just need to provide the text. Say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And he's just going to start reading. And you're like, yo, are you Arab? He said, no. But this was the first thing that I learned when I was a child. Not, what do they learn in schools? These songs that they teach in primary school. Oh, McDonald's had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, Baba Black Sheep. Baba Black Sheep, have you ever more? And Kumbaya, my lord. I remember even in my primary school. I had no clue what I was being taught, but I was there taking in the programming. But this is what I'm saying, my friend, that when you accept Islam, you become more morally in tune. Your life has a direction. Think about it. At the moment, maybe this could be right, maybe that could be right, maybe this book and that book. But when you know, just as an example, let's just say you have a dandruff issue. You're going to Superdrug or any other shop and you want to get a shampoo. There's like 40 shampoos there. Like, oh no, all of them are right. No, you're going there for a specific reason. Anti-dandruff, boom. Only this side is anti-dandruff. Organic, boom. Only this. A smelling of watermelon and lily and all that. I'm not a woman, mate. Boom, only this. Yeah, on top of that, I need something that's got a conditioner in there. Boom, only one option. Great success. This is mine. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying that we should do with the religion as well. Somebody comes and say, I'm a vegan. Okay, I had cow yesterday. Well, you're not a vegan then. Yeah, but I'm vegan / cow eater belief. Okay, good for you. Another guy comes, I'm vegan. All right, I don't eat meat at all. Okay, but I drink milk. So just because somebody comes and makes claims and people are, there's something called the Star Wars religion. I mean, you know what I mean? It's actually a registered religion. It's registered. That doesn't mean we start, bowing down to the Jedi or, the Darth Vader flipping who can't even save himself. He relies on some plastic suit. How's he going to save us? You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that in a world of plurality and social media, in order to get along with each other and to protect each other's sensibilities, people say, oh, it's okay, all religion believes this. No, they don't. All religions don't believe their book is preserved. They don't believe that they are accessing the exact language. They don't believe that all the prophets are correct. They don't believe, for example, even when it comes to the challenges of the Quran, even when it comes to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Like at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, you look at chapter 111, tell me, just stop me if your friends told you this. There's a verse to say that Allah is saying about somebody called Abu Lahab that he will not accept Islam.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
All he had to do was, really? I'm not going to accept Islam? Hear ye, hear ye. I accept Islam. Muslims would have been embarrassed. But the author of the Quran knew, no matter what, the thought would not enter his mind to accept Islam. Even he would not survive till the conquest of Makkah. Because the conquest of Makkah, most people accepted Islam anyway. He died before. He died. So what I'm saying is that even a small prophecy like this, you won't be able to find in the other books. In fact, you speak to a Hindu and you go, oh, who's God? He says, oh, no. It's not we are all God, you know. And then 5 minutes later, he'll start telling you about Vishnu and Brahma and Shiva. So you're like, hang on a minute, who are these three individuals? Oh, they're the three Murti. Translate, Trinity. There you go. Yeah, so again, you've got three that are one. You've got one God beefing another God, one God asking the permission of another God, asking him to help him. Like the two gods go to Vishnu, who's lying on a crown of serpents, or whatever it is. And he's blue, by the way. And then he comes on earth, again as a blue individual, and falls in love with a girl, doesn't speak to her, takes color. It's a random girl, Sita. He comes in an avatar form, and he likes this girl because he's blue and he's a bit, shy. So he takes color and he randomly approaches her and starts rubbing color on her, which if he did today, he'd be locked in prison for sexual harassment. You know what I mean? So, and this is what happens in India during the festival of Holi, Holi. This is what they do. They go to random people, start throwing them, Japanese tourists, I don't know if you saw, it was in the news. They were talking about being grabbed and molested and all sorts of stuff. But my question to you would be that if religion truly comes from God, surely it should come with solutions. Like you ask when it comes to the crisis, I can tell you the Islamic solution to that.
What would that be?
So the Islamic solution to that would be, number one, to deal with interest. Because Islam, there's two principles here. Sadaqah is charity. Yeah, charity improves the economy. Because if you're a rich person, you give charity, a poor person gets it, then that poor person can invest and do something, it's helping the economy. Interest. A poor person wants to do something. The only way a poor person can do something is by lining the pockets of the rich person. Because the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And then the rich person gets more, and now because inflation rates go up and down, the poor person is struggling to keep up, and now he's scared to buy and purchase stuff, so that's harming the economy. So interest, like you see it today, is actually harming the economy. Sadaqah and charity improves the economy. When you look even at family values, Islam is there telling you about family values and preservation of family values. Today you ask a Muslim what is a man, what is a woman, they will tell you this is a man, this is a woman. You go in central London, you ask one of these suited, booted gentlemen, what is a woman? I don't want to talk about it. Because if he gives an answer, whatever answer he gives, if that reaches his boss, he's getting fired tomorrow. He can't define what a woman is, can't define what a man is. That's why you got Primark having one of those intersex or genderless toilets as well. It's confused.com, mate. Yeah, a society that can't even define something that's integral and important. So Islam came to preserve wealth, family, life. You kill one person, it's as if you have killed humanity. There's no verse that tells you to kill babies. What does the Prime Minister of Israel say when October 7th happened? He got up on stage and he said, Amalek. B'Tselem, who's a human rights organization of Palestine, they said they're from Israel as well. And they go, anyone who's gone through the education system in Israel knows what Amalek means. Anyone. When you mention Amalek, it means everyone. Man, woman, child, baby, everyone. You and me, we didn't know. We just thought, no, he's just talking. But their own human rights organization saying the people in that country knew exactly what he meant. And that's exactly what happened. Because Norman Finkelstein, he mentioned a very scary statistic. He said if you look in the last 3 years, the amount of children that have been murdered compared to the amount of children that have been murdered 6 months in Palestine, it's actually 4 times the amount.
It's quite grim.
4 times. If you take the last 3 years and all the children that have been murdered, it's 4 times the amount that have been killed in the 6 months in Palestine. So my question to you would be that if something claims to be from God and you have people that claim to be the chosen people, then what's chosen about this? Yeah, what's chosen about doing this? Like, why can't you condemn this? Why don't we see scores of their rabbis coming out and condemning the acts of the IDF? Rather, if you ask for condemnation, you're going to be called an anti-Semite. But when it comes to ISIS and these groups, Muslims are the first to come out and say, you know what? They do not represent Islam. A small minority. In fact, the whole political aspect is clear. So look, I say this to you once again, that no matter what angle you want to come at, Islam has the solutions for everything. If you were to accept Islam, Islam would, and the thing is, you can keep it to yourself. You can accept Islam. You don't have to tell your parents.
I'll send to pray, no?
Sorry?
I'll send to pray.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. When you accept Islam, the analogy, if I can be so crude, is like that of a toaster. A toaster may be fantastic and amazing, but if it's not plugged into the mains, it's not fulfilling its function. So you as a human being, you might be wonderful, beautiful, amazing, but if you're not plugged into the mercy of God, and that's done verbally, you're unlocking the mercy of God into your heart by acknowledging Him. Because in Islam, the greatest sin is shirk, associating partners and not acknowledging God. So for us, it's very important that if a person accepts Islam, you open your heart and mind to God. That then makes you that toaster that's fulfilling its function. Yeah, and that's making you as an individual that is fulfilling their purpose. And you'll feel more, you'll see the world for what it really is. Yeah, rather than mindless, materialistic, unguided, unconscious matter, just atoms whizzing around, no right, no wrong. You will know this is right, this is wrong. Yeah, and with all due respect to the atheists, if tomorrow, let's just say your friend wasn't around, yeah, let's just say you were in a relationship, because you're a handsome individual. Let's just say if you were in a relationship and, you know, things didn't work out and you had heartbreak. They say 2 of the things are incredibly painful. One is death of a loved one, and the other one is heartbreak. Yeah, and these are very difficult things to recover from. That's why you see people going to intoxicants and all these sorts of things. So when you were in that, if you were ever to be in that position, you call your friend, it's 2 o'clock at night. He's asleep. He's a human being.
Well, I wouldn't be sure. No, he wouldn't.
Well, hopefully he would.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We hope.
And, you know, people are, you know, when you go out and about, it's London, you know what I mean? My friend, he went through a breakup of his marriage, and he said he was crying on the tube. He said this. Said he was crying on the tube. Yeah, not him. He was crying on the tube, but he has, you know, a beard, and he said, I was crying, I was hoping somebody would come up to me and ask if I was okay. He said, not one person came up to me. Not one person. And that, even now, it makes me disappointed. But unfortunately, this is London. This is what Northerners, when they come to London, that's what they say in up north. When you speak, you say, how are you? Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. How are you, mate? Here in London, go, how are you? Shut up. Mind your business. I don't have any money, mate. Well, I do admit we do get a bad rep, but it is like this. It's a rat race. Yeah.
Northerners more friendly, bro. I'm a Northerner.
Yeah, there you go. That's why, you know. Look, even she's friendly as well. MashaAllah. So in that sense, what I'm saying is that in crunch times, When you're in the aeroplane going down, even the harshest of atheists will say, oh my God. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's all well and good academically saying no, but what about this, and no, there could be infinity, and no, over billions of years this could have been we can talk about that academically, philosophically, rationally, ontologically, teleologically. We can do all of that, but let's on the level. Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that sort of stuff? No, you don't. You do believe that there is a creator out there, because you don't believe all of this can come from nothing or by itself. You believe that there is something out there. Yes, certain religious people would have annoyed you. You would have had a really bad experience with them. And yes, not all religious folks are good people, but that doesn't mean that the religion is bad. You know what I mean? And that's the reality. And that's what I would say to you, that Islam has so much to offer you, but the way for you to open that gate is to accept Islam. Otherwise, be intellectually honest and say, no, this is what I have a problem with. That's hash it out, mate. Because if you start bringing up statistics about even the survival predictability of you getting home safely today, yeah, I mean, you could get run over by a lorry, you can get run over by a coach, you can get the 17th mutation of the COVID virus, which ironically disappeared when Putin popped along, but maybe it's going to make a comeback now, and another mutation. Who knows what's going to happen? What I'm saying is, look, life is not a joke. When life becomes a joke, like the Buddhist that you mentioned, imagine burning a human being alive.
He's dead, no?
But you'd say, no, I would never. But when the person dies, the reason why they burn him or her is because they're like, he's dead now. Dead, it's a body, it's matter. But for us, we don't believe it to be like that. What we say is we bury the body. You let the nutrients and everything go into the soil. Even technically speaking, even when we cut nails and hair, the best practice is to bury it, not to dash it in the bin, but we're living obviously in a very concrete jungle. That's why certain practices not everybody can do. Otherwise, it is very nature-based. Prayer is supposed to be on the ground. Yeah, where you put your head on the ground. Even scientifically, they say free radicals go into your body, you walk around barefoot, and all of this sort of stuff. So this is what Islam teaches. Yes, the concrete jungle is trying to take us in another direction, and leave it to them, they will. They'll turn you into a commodity and a battery. That if you've seen the Matrix, like Neo, where he's just used as a battery in a container, as the machines have realized that, you know what, they're just good for their source, the energy source. Yeah, and that's the thing with the future. If you see Black Mirror, you see how dystopian the future could become with virtual reality and all of this technology. Unless you're grounded on reality and your purpose and why you're here, what's right, what's wrong, there's going to be more and more veils on reality. At the moment, the veil on reality could be posters. It could be the concrete jungle and this and that. That's veiling the reality of the soil. On top of that, you've got TV. On top of that, you've got the headphones. On top of that, you've got immersion, virtual reality. It's going to get more and more, like the Neuralink of Elon Musk. Yeah, they're going to immerse you more and more. Then it's going to be an episode like Vanilla Sky, where you can't distinguish between reality and the false reality that's being created as an illusion around you, or like they say, like the Matrix or whatever you want to call it, a simulation or whatnot. It's going to become more and more difficult. That's why I say now is the time. Now is the time you see something on TV, on the computer, on the phone, you can switch it off. But what if it's connected to you? What if you've got that thing that, you know, that chip that they're entering in Sweden, they've already tried it on a few people. What if that chip then gets hacked? So there's so many issues that can come about further into the future. Even the way things are going at the moment. Yeah, you've got countries attacking each other, asking for World War III. It's crazy. So that's why I say, mate, this is something that society trivializes to us. Says the most important thing is the Euro final because England's made it into, you know, the final. But then when you realize that this is nonsense, I'm not surviving just to watch a football match. I'm not surviving just so I can line my boss's pockets when I go to work and help him live his dream. What is my purpose? What am I doing here? And it's these questions that are very important. And once upon a time, Like in Iraq, there was something called the House of Wisdom, where you had people of all faiths that would come and discuss, talk about that. You had Aristotle, Plato that would discuss stuff like this. Today, if somebody talks about that sort of stuff, say, yeah, he's a religious nutcase. But that's the problem. When a person believes that all of this did not come by chance, surely you should reflect on how did this come to being? What could logically be the answer? And how can I improve my life and make sure I'm living in the best way possible? The only way you can do that is by listening, and when you hear the correct logical answer, say, you know what, that's fair enough. Just like I would accept a theory in science, just like I would trust my bus driver to take me home, even though I don't even know his name, I'd trust a pilot who's driving a bloody jumbo jet hundreds and thousands of feet off the ground. Why can't I trust God, who's the operator of everything? You know what I mean? So that's why, mate, we come here every week. That's why your friend has got nothing really to gain from you. Just because you accept Islam doesn't mean his Bitcoin account is going to be plus 100,000.
Sorry, man. Say sorry.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing monetary. In fact, if there was any monetary gain, he would be sinful for that. In fact, the Quran's told him off. There's no compulsion in religion. You can't obligate and force somebody to accept Islam. So the thing is that once the case has been made, then the question is propaganda. What's the propaganda? I know I'm doing a John Cena, but what's the propaganda that's stopping you from accepting Islam? And that is a question I would posit to you. What is stopping you from accepting
You
Islam?
said earlier that he was worried about prayers or something. You mentioned.
I think it's more. I don't know. I think you made lots of fair points today. I think either you're right, which is more likely at this point,
100%.
or I just forgot what I thought about. And I think it's more just the commitment, the effort you need to put in.
Yeah.
You need to pray, you need to do this and do that. And it's just the more I talk to him, the more I realize it's a lot more effort than you would think.
Okay, here's the thing. Let me give you one example, yeah? One is the argument of truth. Yeah, this is truth, this is false, this is where the evidence is, here's where there's no evidence. So you've got that aspect of things. Another is, okay, the implementation of worship, how it fits in with my life. The difficulty or the impracticality of that shouldn't negate the first part of the argument, which is the truthfulness of something. It could still be true, you could still accept the faith, but then the speed in which you implement these things is different, and it's a separate point to that. Yeah, they're not necessarily connected. I'll give you an example. I can give you a map, I can give him a map. I can give you both a destination to go to Edinburgh. We're here in London. He might take a coach. You might go to the city airport and get a flight. You're both going there. You don't mind paying the extra bucks to get there. Yeah. He says, you know what, I'm more familiar with this. He might go, you know what, I've always wanted to walk, and I get a couple of friends and we'll make a couple of days out of it and we walk there. Yeah, trekking and hiking and all that sort of stuff. It's up to you. Yeah, the process comes later. Yeah, prayer. Okay, how can I maneuver? That's phase 2 of the argument, or that's phase 2 of your journey. The first journey is you have to first acknowledge. For me to have a conversation with you, I have to first acknowledge you exist. You don't have to agree with me, or I don't have to agree with you, but initially you have to make that acknowledgement to me. So if I ask you, bro, do I exist? And you go, yes, you exist. If you go, I say, no, can you use words, please? My hearing's not very good. You go, yes, you exist. Okay, fantastic. Can you say in Spanish? Oh, okay, you exist. Or can you say in Urdu? Aha, aap waqi udhar ho. Or whatever it is, yeah? So I would say that is the second part. First part is acknowledging that there is a God. You not praying doesn't mean that there is no God.
That's true.
You see? So don't conflate the two. The first part of the argument is there a God? Does Prophet Muhammad have the strongest case? Is the Quran the strongest book? Therefore, what comes from the Quran makes the most sense. Yes, good. I agree with it. Okay, now, how would I go about doing these things? That would then be a slow, gradual process. For some people, praying, like you probably heard, there's a YouTuber called Dawah. Yeah, he's a friend of mine. When he accepted Islam till today, like from his father doesn't like him praying in front of him, so he has to adjust with that. His mum is more forthcoming and he prays, but initially he would have to pray in secret. He had to keep his faith secret. Yeah, some people don't tell their parents initially. Some people, you know, discuss it with them at a time that they're ready. But with all due respect to your parents, they're not going to be joining you in the grave. Yeah, they're not going to be answering the questions. They're not going to be helping you in your worst possible situations in life when they passed away, God forbid. So bear that in mind. When it comes to purity and stuff like this, all of this sort of stuff is something that a person learns gradually. For example, if you say, Zishan, how would I go about learning the prayer? Like, who would be able to teach me? I say, aha, there's something called Salah Plus. You go on there and they'll be able to send you a mentor and they can help you to pray. Yeah, but at the moment I'm studying, I don't have time to do this and that. No problem, we can get you an online course. We can get you an online course in which we can get you on, sorry, that's really loud, right in my ear. So you get a online course that can cater to your schedule. Yeah, maybe once a week, once a couple of weeks. That's it. Now, what's going to be interesting is you won't see Muslims doing that at Speaker's Corner.
To be honest, I'm sure there's out of the large community of Muslims, there's one guy.
No, that's what I'm saying. You won't hear, because she calls the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the P word.
P word?
Yeah. So insulting P word, and she insults the Prophet as well. If there's ever anybody in the park that you see insulting Jesus, that person, anybody can go to him and say you're sinful. To disregard the existence of Jesus, peace be upon him, is actually kufr, disbelief. We respect all the prophets. Yeah, even Buddha, like whether he was a prophet or not can be debatable, but because he's respectable in the Buddhist tradition, as Muslims it would be sinful for us to insult him. The Prophet said, don't insult the gods of other faiths. So that's why if there was somebody, you could actually call me, I would go to him and I say, don't you dare insult Jesus, peace be upon him. You notice even when I address Jesus, I say peace be upon him. So that's the thing. And even when it comes to Christians, you'll have some Jews that believe that Jesus was the B word. And they say that he was an illegitimate child, he's in the hellfire. So we accept Moses, we accept Jesus, we revere the likes of Buddha, because we don't believe that Buddha actually came with a religion per se. Like Buddhists don't technically believe in a god. Yeah, it's more like a lifestyle. Yeah, and there are difference of opinion about that sort of stuff, which I don't want to get into. But what I'm saying is that even in terms of implementation, look, you will not see somebody insulting Jesus. Challenge. Without another Muslim then going to him and telling him off. With her, he's a Christian, he's not going to tell her off. Yeah, there are some people that have been coming here for ages, they're not going to tell her off. Because she gets paid to come get people into a altercation, and then she goes home and it contributes to her visa.
She comes every week?
Yeah, because she needs money for her visa. She has to renew her visa, isn't it?
That's sad.
Yeah, I don't think it should be renewed, to be honest. I don't know why they keep renewing a visa.
Because people give her attention. She's getting.
Do you see? Yeah. She's here because she knows she wants to get the views, isn't it? So she wants to get involved. But she helps us forward the case for Islam. I think that's helpful.
She needs the money.
Yeah, the visa's not going to pay for itself, you know.
Muslims did the same thing. Other Muslims would grab him and say, you cannot do that. They would be very upset. And that's
What's her name? Oh, you don't know?
Najma.
Ah, mashallah.
After my mother.
Mashallah. I like the head covering. It's nice, mashallah.
Thank you very much, sir.
No, my pleasure.
I'll think about what you said.
Yeah, think about
I think
it.
you made lots of fair points.
Yes. But definitely, I'll be here hopefully next week as well. Think, ponder, do one thing that I'm sure your friends told you. When you're sitting by yourself, you don't even have to tell anybody. You raise your hand and you say, God, I don't know who you are. I don't know what's going on. There's so much information. I don't know what the the thing that's stopping me from accepting Islam, please guide me. Guide me. Yeah, because from my impression of you, you seem like a sincere individual, that you're here, you're listening, you're interested, and that's a very important criteria for anybody to get somewhere in life. And I think you definitely have your head screwed on. And yeah, I'll be here if you want to see me next week or whenever. Reflect on the points. This will be online, so you can check the references that I made and the points, and you can cross-reference them to see if I made some stuff up or if I was actually speaking the truth. You're more than welcome to do so.
Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure. Take care. Take care.
What's the channel called?
My one is Smile2Jannah Extra.
Okay, extra.
Yeah. Smile2Jannah is the main one. But then there's other Dawah channels, Sam Dawah, SF Dawah. So yeah. SF Dawah, Sam Dawah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very
Take
much.
care.
6 months. 6 months per year.
Oh.
I'm creating, forget the image, I'm creating an app, a Saladin app, and we're creating like a TV channel. We're trying to create a gateway for Muslims, not non-Muslims.
Okay.
And where we sell products